Whoa, whoa, whoa. We got some big dogs in the house today here to show you and tell you all about Fanable. I have Sergio in the house, who's the chief of collectors experience. And of course, you guys know Sean, the king from Comics and Crypto. Good to see you guys. We're going to give you the basics of what Fanable is in case you don't already know what it is. And then we're going to go into a very exclusive drop happening this Thursday. So what is up, guys? Good to see you.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Chad. Thanks for having us. And great to finally meet you.
Bro, great to finally meet you too. And Sean, of course, so good to have you back. I just want to call it out, Sergio. Your tweets and everything that you're doing, you and Comics and Crypto, you guys are so professional. You're so insightful. Sometimes I want to go out, I get innovative, and I'm like, I'm going to put this cool message out. And then I look and I'm like, shit, Sergio already put it out. So good for you, man, for being so good at that stuff.
No, man, you too. What you do for the space, it's really amazing. I've been watching all the interviews you've done over the years, and they're always so insightful and full of really good information that people in the community need. So, no, thank you for all that you've done and continue to do for the space.
Awesome. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. And honestly, it's me just giving guys like you a platform to speak your mind, just listening and then just trying to ask the right questions, so but let's dive into it, because I think, I have a good understanding of what Fanable is, but I think there's a lot of people that don't know what it is. And I know that it's a pretty simple concept, but it'd be great just to get like a high level overview, and then we can kind of dive into the details.
Absolutely, yeah. So Fanable, we're a platform where collectors can interact with their physical collectibles stored at a Brinks vault, secured Brinks vault in New York City, but digitally. So every single physical collectible has a one-of-one digital representation, right? So when you go to Fanable and you're interacting with these digitals, you're really interacting with the physicals back at the Brinks facility. Now, once that item is redeemed, then the digital disappears along with it. And so because we use blockchain technology, we can do things that you can't really do in other places. Like we have royalties that we pay out to originators, people who submit their physical collectibles to our vault. And many other things. We have buyback programs. You can see every single item's transaction history. So you can trace every movement of every item and even go to a person's profile and see their activity if they leave it public, of course. But all that's on the blockchain.
Wow, impressive. Yeah, I feel like Sean's got something to add. He's like, I could tell he's eager to be like, you guys need to, that's so cool.
To take it even further, even just to really simplify it so everyone out there really, just to bring it home, when you have a really expensive item and you bring it into a bank and they hold it for you, right? You don't really have access to it unless you cash it back out. But it's safe and secured inside of a bank vault. That's essentially what Fanable is doing for collectibles. So the difference is you have access to it while it's in the bank.
Wow.
So that is so cool. While it's stored in the bank,
right?
It's still stored in the bank. It never leaves the bank until you redeem it and it's shipped back to you. So these NFTs are connected to the physicals being stored in the bank. That's what that is essentially. Yeah, that's what.
Insane. And so is this like a novel concept, or are we seeing this in any other like crypto projects or NFT projects? Because this seems incredibly cool, because I think that's an issue we all have. It doesn't even necessarily have to be in a vault. It could be in a box in your room and you're like, oh, this is annoying.
Yeah.
But so like, is that kind of exclusive what you guys are doing here? Or is that some like kind of a thing that's already been happening?
So there are competitors in the marketplace, specifically with trading cards, but we're introducing this technology and this concept to comic books, graded comic books, graded VHS, graded games, even graded toys like Funko Pops that are graded by PSA. So as long as it's authenticated by a reputable grader, like CGC, Beckett, and PSA, will take those collectibles. So what we're doing is we're creating a place for people that collect any type of collectibles to interact with our platform.
Wow. That's impressive. I think there's some feedback. I don't know if it's on Sergio on your end or on Sean's.
I hope
But yeah,
not.
yeah, it's okay.
I did hear some, yeah.
People are desperate to get into this. See, the people are just clawing, being like, let me in that Fanable. No, this is cool, guys. And we got a lot of people here supporting, so we got the Slops, McFlops. I know he's
That's
a big
our
supporter of
Discord
yours.
mod. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, nice.
Shout out.
What's goody peeps? Love the app.
Hey,
People
Evolve.
already in it.
I see you on Twitter.
We got Bill sending us some
Yeah.
daps.
Awesome.
Really cool, man. And I know that, we kind of like, if we want to walk into it more, if you guys check in the description, we have all the links there so that you can kind of follow along. But I'll maybe pass it to Sean, and you can kind of tell us more about maybe the website and how it operates.
Yeah, Sergio, I'll go to the marketplace and you can dive into it.
Wow. Oh, you guys are getting me excited here. Of course you bring that up right away.
So, what you're seeing here, so this is the product page. That physical comic of Ultimate Spider-Man #1, graded 9.0 by CGC, is stored at a Brinks facility. And so what you see here, actually, this particular image is the raw scan of the front of the comic. This is the back of it, right? So we scanned them at Brinks, and then we create a 3D render for showcase purposes. So that's what you see here, right? This is the showcase version of that physical scan item that was scanned. And so every single one is a one of one, right? That's exactly what it looks like back at the vault. It has its own label. This one is a custom label. This one happens to be signed. And you can even see the certification number, Sean, if you want to scroll down just a little bit on the right so they can see right there on the certification number. So if you click on that, it should take you to CGC, where you can see the grading notes. But there seems to be an error on this one. So we'll look into that. But right, so it connects you to the certification page for that particular collectible. I think it's probably because that certification number looks like it has one too many zeros that needs to come off. So we'll look into that because it's a 10-digit certification number. But that's the idea behind this. People can make offers on your collectibles. You can trade them in the marketplace. If you submitted the item to the vault and it gets traded, you collect 2% royalty every time the collectible is traded in perpetuity until the item is redeemed. So once it's redeemed, you no longer collect royalties.
Interesting. And then in terms of the redemption, that's just up to somebody's decision, right? Like I've bought this. I don't want necessarily the digital version of it now. I just want to have it in my house. And how would that process work? Like they would just request it, I guess, from Fanable, and then it might be like a month later, or you get it in the mail or something, or.
Well, hopefully not a month later. Hopefully we can be quicker than that. But
what if I'm in Bangladesh, like where am I?
I'm glad you mentioned that, Chad, because I think it's important for your audience to understand that at launch, we're only going to be available in the United States at launch. Then we're expanding globally.
Right. That's what I mean, man. You got, Canadians up here freezing their whole winter waiting for this to drop, but now I got to wait another little bit, but I get it. I'm glad you guys are starting. Yeah.
We're actually working on that, and it's always been part of the plan here. But we've realized during our beta stress test drop that there's real demand internationally, right? So we expected to sort of release it globally much later on, but we've put that at the forefront because it's clear a lot of people want this, and so we're expediting that.
Impressive. That's really cool. Wow. I love this whole, like this, everything that you guys are doing here. And, you know, I think it's so neat as well to have it secure in such a high end vault. Like, I feel as though that just like speaks to kind of the professionalism and the quality of what you guys are accomplishing here. What does this Brinks vault look like? Like, if I had to envision it, like, am I walking in to this massive steel door and I'm like, you know, there's some bank representative is opening it and there's all these comics, or like, is that an exaggeration? Is it more like a storage place? Like, what is that? What does it look like? I'm just
Kind
trying
of
to get
a hybrid of that. You know, I had the opportunity to visit the Brinks facility when we were setting up the scanning equipment. We have an industrial scanner that Brinks employees, when they take in the collectible, they scan it, right? And so it's kind of a hybrid, right? It's secured, right? You have to be let in. They have to buzz you in. You can't just go in there. And there's a storage vaulted high-end security room where all these collectibles are stored that's specifically designated for Fanable, right? So no, it's very high-end. As you can imagine, Brinks has been around for well over 100 years. And so security is a top service that they offer. But yeah, no, it's really cool. It was quite an experience for me to go there.
That's so fascinating. And I love as well that you kind of have the security on both sides, because it's like, you know, as we see in the NFT realm where somebody just has something in their cold wallet and it gets stolen, it's kind of like the end of it, right? As I feel like as though there's like an added layer of verification here. I don't know, like I just feel as though it'd be more difficult for, like, it just seems like security is a top priority for you guys. It's really cool.
Oh, absolutely. And insurance too, right? So every collectible stored at the Brinks facility is insured, and it's no cost to the collector. We cover that at Fanable. Same thing with
Whoa.
yeah, we cover shipment to the facility. We do charge shipment upon redemption for the shipment back to you, but we have a prepaid printed label that you can generate directly from our website, or a QR code. So if you don't have a printer at home, you can just scan the QR code at your USPS office, and the label will be generated for you.
Yeah, those are some really important points that really got me so excited about Fanable. I mean, the fact that you're able to ship your collectibles to Fanable for free, and it's also insured while you're shipping it. They'll store it for free. They cover the insurance while it's being stored. And they also provide these high-res images and a 3D model of your collectible for free. And on top of that, you have full access to it at all times. You can trade it, you can sell it, you can display it in your profile. So, man, it's really cool. And, you know, a lot of people have a lot of really awesome collections, but they're just sitting in their house.
Right.
Now you're going to be able to showcase your physicals, you know, anytime in your profile. You're going to be able to search for certain collectibles. That's another thing that's really hard for a lot of people, trying to locate certain items, certain cards or comics, even VHS tapes. But you can just now search for it, and if it pops up, there you go. You found it in seconds. Sometimes it takes people years to find this stuff.
Wow. And I guess in a lot of sense as well, it's probably safer in the Brinks vault than your own house. Right?
Absolutely. And that's another point, right? Sean touched upon storage. I think many collectors can relate to just running out of space, right? And even for that alone, where you can free up some storage and have the peace of mind of knowing that your collectibles are insured, that in and of itself is a service that Fanable offers, right? The fact that you get these scanned, insured, stored, it's a huge plus.
I've already shipped 15 graded comics, 20 graded cards, and I have about two boxes of 24 graded VHS tapes, and I'm sending out for that exact reason. I don't have no space in my office anymore. I'm like walking around like it's Indiana Jones. There's booby traps everywhere.
That's so funny. So that's so cool. So I guess, is there like a prerequisite in terms of the quality of something that needs to be shipped? Like if I want to send you like something that's like $5, like a, you know, like a basic card, can I just do that? And like, I'm assuming nobody would do that because they're only going to send it into the Brinks vault if it like has substantial value. But like, is there like a cutoff, or are there things that like you won't accept, I guess, in terms of like somebody's collectibles?
You know, there's absolutely no restriction. It's the only qualifier is that it needs to be authenticated, right? So
Right.
as long as it's authenticated, it's slabbed, the value, we don't take into account, whether it's $5 or $10. One thing, if it's over $50,000, it's a pickup by a Brinks truck that gets triggered. So anything over $50,000, it's a Brinks truck that comes and picks it up.
Yeah.
Damn. That actually makes a lot of sense. And what if it's like, is it like the equivalent of a certain amount of collectibles at 50,000? Like could it be like 12 collectibles together equaling 50,000 that would still land a Brinks truck, or it would have to be like one specific item over 50,000?
One shipment. So when you go through the shipment process on Fanable, you list
Yeah,
the number of items and the value of all those items. So if the totality of the shipment is over $50,000, it'll trigger the truck.
I see. And Sergio, do you want to tell us more about the team? Like, I know obviously you're the chief of collecting experience there, but I know you're also like have your co-founder Alex, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, Alex is the co-founder. So I was sort of brought in through Eternity. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Eternity
Yeah, I am.
NFT.
I am.
So when I started, I was brought in to work on the community of Eternity NFTs. But then there's a sister company, separate company called Eternal Labs. And under Eternal Labs is where Fanable, the Fanable platform, came about. And so when this Fanable started being put together, they asked if I would be willing to sort of join on a full-time basis for Fanable and get the project going and helping them bring it to life. So I've been involved, at least this iteration, because my understanding there were other iterations of Fanable, but this, what you see here, this concept, I was in it from the very beginning with
Wow.
the co-founder Alex. So yeah, the team is very experienced with Web3,
Mhm.
but we try to make sure that this platform is very Web2 friendly. In fact, I mean, there's no having to connect MetaMask wallets or anything like that, even though you do get a wallet assigned, right? But as far as the user is concerned, you might not even realize you have a wallet. Everything's done on the back end.
Damn.
Even for signing, you don't have to remember passwords. You just give us your email, you get the code, and you enter it, and boom, you log into your profile. So,
Wow.
and that's part of what led us to create a native iOS app and a native Google Play app, right? And we looked at other platforms for inspiration, like Vivi, right? We're all familiar with Vivi and the simplicity of Vivi, right? My
Right.
dad uses Vivi, right?
Yeah.
And it's so simple for anyone to understand. You don't really have to explain to people how to use Vivi, right? And that's what we want people to feel when they download the Fanable app. Beginning tomorrow, it's when you can download it on iOS, where it's so simple. No one has to really explain to you how it works.
Wow, I feel like that's the new way to approach this is that, with the sentiments around NFT and just like, what it meant, now it's really about like digital collecting and the experience of it. So if you can make that seamless for your average user, I'm an average user still. I still have complications when it comes to like trading and things like that. It's not easy sometimes. There's a lot involved, especially if you're like on different chains, trying to get out this money, or you don't want to spend so much in gas. Like there's a lot of things to think about. So that's really good that it's such a seamless experience. We already got people that are excited, including Sleeping Comics, who's like, "Can I send in comics today?"
Met him in New York with my dad, actually, at the New York Comic Con for the Vivi party. Great guy. Great to have
Yeah.
met you there. Yeah.
He's great.
Um,
He says, "I'll need the truck." So get that Brinks truck ready. I think we're going to need like 7 of them to come to his house.
and to answer your question, Sleeping, so beginning tomorrow, when the app gets published on the App Store, you can certainly submit your collectibles. Yeah. So that whole setup is it already exists. In fact, our beta testers like Sean and a few others have already tested the shipment process. So yeah, you can go in, generate the label, send us your collectibles, and yeah, everything's working.
Yeah, and it's going back to what you were saying earlier, guys. It's for me, it was so exciting to see a company that's able to bridge physical and digital like this. A company that's able to use NFT technology without the consumers realizing or customers realizing that they're actually using NFT technology. And this solves an immediate need for physical collectors. Physical collectors, this is going to be very, very big for them. I feel like this is going to be a great bridge for their collection, helping them understand that you can have access to your physical collectibles at all times while it's being stored for free and it's fully insured. That's really awesome. I mean, a lot of people have suffered over the past couple of years through natural disasters. I mean, Jeremy Paddleware talked about recently how he lost his entire collection from his house being burnt down. It's tragic. And unfortunately, he was insured for his collection. So, thank goodness for that. But man, it's really awesome to have an opportunity for a company to do something like this. That's not just doing one medium; they're doing everything. And
Yeah,
right about it. Yeah,
it's
Absolutely.
so interesting. Sorry to Sergio. I was just gonna say, like, it's funny because the value proposition that you're bringing here is so enormous. And it's just so interesting that we're so niche still in this space that, like, like, it just feels to me that this is like could be like a worldwide sensation where I feel like the majority of people, like, I mean, the use case for me is so strong to not have, physicals in my house. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm selling a bunch of Pokemon cards here. Here, let me just actually show you guys. Might as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is just like all, like, stuff that I'm
There
ready
you
to
go.
out. Yeah, like, and I'll take some out of the napkins, but it's like, this stuff just sits upstairs. I had to, like, my brother had some at his house because he was helping me get them ready to grade, and it's like, they're just like sitting right in the cold, and it's in Canada, man, minus 30 degrees Celsius, right? Like, there's so much risk here. So I don't know. I feel like it just makes so much sense, like, so we're just getting ready. It's all the base set stuff.
that's awesome. Yeah, so go ahead, Sergio.
No, Chad, I don't live too far from I'm only a 20-minute drive from Canada. My son and I go to Toronto a bunch of times.
God.
We go to Legoland there and visit in Toronto. It's a 2-hour drive from where I live. So
you're in Buffalo?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, live in Buffalo. And so I can relate to the cold weather. In fact,
dude, it's
like
probably even colder there. Yeah. Wow, that's cool though, dude. We should get a beer or something sometime. That's crazy.
We should, definitely. We'd love that.
Yeah. And
I did want to know that. Sorry.
Yeah. No. What are you gonna say? You go first, brother.
No, I saw a comment on there that you posted from Sleep, and he'll send the Hulk #1 comic to Fanable. I mean, thank you, Sleeping. I mean, that's just next level. I mean, it would be such an honor to have such a huge grail on our platform. And so thank you. I really appreciate that and having that confidence in us. Sorry, Chad, I cut you off.
No, that's fine. And I think I agree with you because like, again, that just would speak to the credibility that you guys have, right? And I believe you have that. Like, who knows what people are going to start sending you. So it'd be pretty interesting to see how much those Brinks guys are working overtime. Sean, sorry, I thought you were going to say something as well, brother.
I was just saying there's another problem that Fanable solves as well is shipping. I mean, if you have 100 comic books and you sell them all, you got to ship them. So that's time, effort, resources that you have to put into shipping items. And Fanable solves that. It solves that for you. It can be really complicated, especially when you're shipping internationally. I've faced that, man. Like, our friend Danny, he sent a bunch of Pokemon cards to me to have so I could put them in one box and ship it to him because he's buying them from the States and he didn't want 20 packages being sent internationally. It's a nightmare. So I put them all in a box. I sent it to him. 4 months goes by and he still didn't get it yet. He still hasn't gotten these cards. I went back to the post office and apparently there was some type of paperwork that was missed and it just sat there. Like if I didn't go back and get it, it would have been gone. And that's awful. Yeah. So this is going to really be an amazing opportunity for people all around the world to collect physical collectibles. You can buy and sell and trade them instantly. That is amazing.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I feel like almost like I'm so lucky to be hosting you guys. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, because this space is still so niche, and it's like, it seems like the interest is like, it's obviously coming back, but it still seems like it's just going under the radar right now. Like, the value proposition of a lot of these platforms, like what you guys are doing here is huge. Like, I feel like it's like almost like underestimated,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it gives our physical comics utility, right? And so I mean this is just such a cool concept, such a cool idea. I used it. I already shipped some of my physical collectibles to Fanable's vault, and to me it's like a no-brainer. Even if I didn't work for Fanable, I would want to be part of this, right? Just
Right.
like I'm part of other communities, whether it's VV, McFarlane Toys, Candy Digital. This is just so perfect. So yeah, and the response that we've gotten so far from the community has been overwhelming, to be quite frank. The drop we had 3 weeks ago was 100 items. It was invite only. It sold out. And we got a lot of feedback. People started shipping items, and honestly, we weren't sure if people were going to utilize that yet. Right at this stage, we felt like, okay, maybe people have some reservations about sending in their items, and so that revealed a lot of other things that we started to work on. We hired a brand new logistics person whose full-time job is just to handle logistics, and she was onboarded today. And so, because we're now expecting the demand for that component of the app to be much bigger than we initially imagined. Yeah,
That's so cool. I love how you're already have like the people in place though as well, right? Like, it's not like an afterthought. Like, it's like there's so much that you guys have already preloaded into making this successful. So that's really impressive. I'm just going to read a few questions because we got 187 people in here between X and YouTube. So I just want to make sure that, people are being heard. So this one is Digital Toys with Tommy. When someone gives a value to their collection before sending it, what would you use to value your collection, or just overvalue for shipping?
So for valuation, we use obviously Go Collect and GP Analytics for when we value the collections ourselves. However, for shipping purposes, when you list the value of the collectibles of your shipment, that is what it'll be insured as. So that's I mean, state the value you think it is, but whatever you put in there as the value is what it will be insured for. Is that the question you were asking? I just want to make sure I addressed that.
Yeah, they were just curious in terms of how you would assess your collection in terms of value while shipping it out.
Right. And so let's say, I don't know, just to throw out a number, you send some item, is valued at $1,000. It's insured for $1,000. When it arrives at the Brinks facility in New York and gets scanned, all we do is attribute that and assign it to your profile on Fanable. From there on, the value is determined by the marketplace or yourself. You can list it for any amount you want to list it for.
It's so amazing too. I mean, just again, Spencer and I own a lot of collectibles together, and I try to figure out ways where he can enjoy it. So I'm personally taking photos, of each collectible, putting it in a folder, organizing. It's taking me hours and hours and hours. I mean, I don't even want to think about it. Actually, it's been years of doing this. And Fanable does it all for you for free. They take high-risk scans, front and back, and create a 3D model of your collectible. That's awesome. That's so
Yeah.
It's like, if anybody has a graded comic book, go and try to take a photo of it right now.
Yeah.
The glares on, it's hard. It's really hard to get a nice high-res photo of your collectible, your graded collectible. So it's really awesome to see that.
It's so cool because, even if you're like, let's say going on a plane or you're going on vacation, like you have the assurance, first of all, that you don't have to be worried about your house, right? Or like looking at your Ring doorbell or like, these kind of things. Like, it's all in the Brinks vault.
Yeah.
And then the second piece to that is then it's mobile. It's coming with you. You could enjoy it. Like you said, you could still use it for social media. You have the highest resolution possible. I mean, even for like cards that like, you know, my brother and I collect, it's very rare that we go look at it because I'm like, oh, like it's up in this room. It's underneath this box for this certain thing I want to see. Like if I just had an app and I'm like, okay, let me just check this thing out. Oh, I forgot that was rated, or, you know, a 9.8 or a PSA 10 or whatever. Like it's so many things that are just so cool about this. So I don't know, man. You guys are like really getting me excited here. And I guess, you know, since we kind of have a lot of people in here, maybe we can move into what's dropping this Thursday, because we have another exclusive collection coming. So I want to make sure people know about this.
So maybe we should talk about, just to give a little bit of backstory of what it is. So maybe Sergio, you can talk about the stress and test drop.
Sure. So when we were building this app and we got to a point where we felt we can start inviting users to test out the app, because of course the team tested out these features internally. We initially had an alpha drop of 30 collectibles and invited 15 people to participate in that drop. Believe it or not, it took 4 days for that 30 item drop to sell out, right? So with just the 15 people, we had a two item limit. And so we got some feedback from the community, right? And we worked with the developers to address that. 3 weeks later, we had a 100 item mystery, the one you see there on the screen, the stress test drop. We invited more people. I think in total we invited about 70 people or so, right? And again, a purchase limit of 2. And it sold out within a couple of hours, right? We were thinking it might take a few days to sell out because it was a much bigger drop, right? And it was very well received. We got a ton of feedback. Our developers have been nonstop working on addressing many of the things that were raised during that period. We brought in another full-time developer to assist and ensure that we get everything ready for the public launch, which is going to come on April 3rd, this upcoming Thursday. And so what we do for every one of our drops is we work with a 3D design team called Impossible Brief to design our mystery cases so they match the theme of each of our drops, right? And that's what we did with Comics and Crypto. You'll soon see their 3D mystery case design. And it takes, a lot of feedback, a lot of back and forth. And we want to make sure that when people look at these mystery cases, they see them as collectibles in and of themselves, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, once you open it, the case disappears and it turns into the physical collectible that you reveal. Like in this case, that's Spawn number 1 9.8 by CGC, right? Every week we'll have a new drop. The first public drop where anyone can join by downloading the app is the Comics and Crypto Curated Collection. So based on the initial feedback, Chad, I don't think it's going to take hours for this one to sell out. It's only 75 items, right? Yeah. And so I'm really excited just on all the feedback we've been getting about the Comics and Crypto drop. The community has been really embracing this drop. I'll let Sean talk more about that.
Yeah. And for context for the stress drop, that only 25 comics or cases were available. And when we say cases, they're basically like mystery boxes, and each one has one physical comic inside. So I bought 2 of them, and actually I got lucky. And one of them, I was standing with my dad, actually, this is so great. And we opened it up and ended up being the Spawn number 1, which was like the big chaser for that stress drop. And they had a bounty. Fanable had a bounty for this one for $175. So I turned my $25 into $175. Wow. I sold it back to Fanable.
Nice.
Yeah, which is amazing. And the cool part is, like Sergio was saying, you don't have to open your case if you don't want to. Very similar to like we see on Candy Digital. Have mint numbers, and they'll also have mint numbers as well. So if you get a number 1 pack, might want to hold on to that one, not open it,
So here's a question for you. This is really interesting. Like, let's say you know the breakdown, right, of the chasers, and let's say 24 to 25 were opened, but there was only one of the chasers that was revealed, and would you then be guaranteed a chaser in that one, in a sense? Like, and you could prove that on the blockchain, I guess. You could look at the data, or
Well, it's all random, right? So when you open a mystery case, no one knows what's in them until it's revealed.
I
So
see.
when you get a mystery case, the only way to know what's in it, it's by revealing it, right? So hypothetically, let's say you have, in the case of Comics and Crypto, we have 75 mystery cases, and 50 of them have been revealed. There are 25 left, but the grail item in that collection hasn't been revealed, then those 25 unopened case will probably gain more value, right? But it's all random, completely random. One other thing I don't want to forget about is that we offer a 90% buyback guarantee on any mystery case item. So when you open, including the grail, so the upcoming grail for this collection is an Amazing Spider-Man 252. This one right here.
Holy shit, that's not bad for
Yeah. It's valued at $1,200, right? And we'll buy it back from you for 90% of the value instantly, right? So you get an instant offer, and you choose to accept it or not, right? It's up to you.
What?
Yeah.
That's like, there's no losing there.
There's no losing.
Oh, if you get the grail, no, but keep in mind, right? So the retail price for the mystery case is $99. So we have grails and chases and bounty items, and then there are other ones that are lower tiered. So some are valued at $75, right? So it really depends on what you reveal.
And what would be like the lowest valued item? Like, would it be like $40, $30?
That's around that price range. Yeah, would be the lowest. I mean, as you could imagine, when just to grade a random comic, it's like $25 with CGC when it's all said and done, right? So even if you take a $3 comic that doesn't really have much value, just because of the cost of grading it, you're already going up to, at least in the high 20s in terms of value. Yeah.
Exactly. In Canada, like most of the local comic book stores will be like $75 for like the cheapest graded comic that they offer. So what does the breakdown look like in terms of like, is it completely a mystery, or is it like, okay, we have this many chasers, this many grails, this many, you know what I mean? Like, what does that look like?
Dive into that in a sec, Sergio. I just wanted to go back and just make a few points. So we're talking about the packs, right? The mystery packs. If the grail was still not revealed and 50 packs were opened, that means there's 25 left, and one of them could be the grail or even some of the chasers. If you look at packs of cards, like physical packs of cards, a good analogy would be like, remember the Lord of the Rings, Magic the Gathering, and everyone was buying these packs to try to find the one of one ring card, right? Those packs held a high premium and kept selling at a high premium until that card was found.
Right.
The card was found. They still hold a good value, but they weren't selling as high as they were then in the secondary marketplace, right? So that's kind of an idea, a good analogy there.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about the odds, like for instance, like with the new prismatic evolutions, like the Pokemon set that came out, it's something like a 1 in 1,600 to a 1 in 2,000 chance of pulling the special illustration rare Umbreon, which is like the chase card. It's like, I don't know, $2,300. And if you think about it, like you have a 1 in 2,000 chance. Here you have a 1 in 75 chance,
right?
Of something. Maybe it's not $2,000, but I mean it's similar-ish.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like, it's amazing to me, like the value proposition that you guys have here. Yeah.
And on top of that, go ahead, Sergio. Sorry.
No. Go ahead, Sean.
I was going to say, if when you open packs of like sports cards, typically you're looking at about an 80% loss on your sports cards. But on top of that, you have to sell them. So now you got to put the effort into selling the 20% of what you have. Here, it's an automatic buyback. It's amazing. Cool. You spend more time having to try to sell these things, so that's a really cool opportunity for sure.
And Chad, just to answer your question, so tomorrow when people download the app and they go to the drop page, for Thursday, obviously the drop is this Thursday. They'll be able to see every single item in that collection, so you'll know what you could get, right? From
I
the
see.
Grail to the Chase to tier 1, 2, and 3, you'll see every single item that'll be in that collection before you choose to participate. So that way you can assess the upside and the downside, right? And you can, decide whether you want to move forward. But those 75 items are in those 75 mystery cases.
Amazing. I think that's so cool. It's like, you're showcasing also the breadth of the things that you can get. Like, it's not like, oh, you get the same edition or the same thing 75 times. Like, there's a lot of variety too, right? So even if somebody, for instance, didn't get something that like something that was really high value, it might be something that they really like, right? Or they could trade it or whatever they want to do. So there's just like, it's such a cool concept. And I love the design on the mystery case here. This is like really impressive. So Comics and Crypto.
Yeah, the Fanable team created this, and then Sergio reached out and said, "Why don't we put the Comics and Crypto sticker on there, and then the sticker of the three faces?" So, what's really makes this even more special, aside from the unboxing experience, which I'm really excited for everyone to see, that it's going to be incredible. Some of this is actually Kevin's original artwork on there.
Wow.
This is actually the project that Kevin worked on. So for me, this is very sentimental, and they hit a grand slam here, man. Kevin would have been so proud of this. So yeah, it's a really cool opportunity to be a part of this. And man, again, I have to emphasize, Kevin would have been stoked. He'd have been so excited for this.
Let's take a moment for that brilliant guy, man. I'm so sorry that happened, and like, he just brought so much warmth and energy. And like, I mean, I didn't get to know him on a personal level, but every time I had a podcast with him, he was just like a warm fire. I was always just like, oh yeah, Kevin's here too. Such a good dude. So, it's almost like his legacy will live on through you guys. So, brother.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, man. I know.
And when we learned, because we reached out to Comics and Crypto about this collection around 6 months ago or so, and we got an opportunity to work with Kevin, and sorry about that. We got an opportunity to work with Kevin, and he even produced some videos for us as well. So when we learned about his passing, it was really just devastating. My apologies, keep getting interrupted with the phone. But yes.
Hi, Sergio. I feel like Sergio's running like 4 companies at once, man.
Kevin.
No, it looks really good.
What makes it even more fun is that we were part of this. Chance to kind of create a theme around the comics. Every single comic that is in this drop is also available on the VD platform. So with your digital has always been a thing for us, and very special for us. So everyone out there who's able to buy a case and opens it up, they're going to be able to match their digital on VD, which is really, really neat.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really wise for you guys to do that too, because like it just makes it so interesting for VV collectors, right? Because they're gonna be like, oh, I want to have the physical representation of this or whatever, right? Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And that ranges from anywhere from the modern age, most recent comics, even back to like, I know we have Copper Age and Bronze Age, and I think we might even have 1 or 2 Silver Age comics in there as well. Got to look back at the list. Don't quote me on that, but it's changed quite a bit.
I remember seeing Hero for Hire. Luke. Yeah, that's in there, and I believe that's at least Bronze Age, right? If not Silver Age.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Bronze Age. Yeah. So yeah, you have some bangers in there for sure.
Yeah.
And Frank says that's just me calling Sergio to make sure I get first in line for the drop this week.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Don't worry, bro. And I also, this was actually a really cool idea. I was just waiting for the right time to bring it up by Video Shane. He's like, I could see comic collectors at conventions bringing a screen to show all the books they have for sale, as opposed to loading heavy boxes of graded books.
Shane, I'm so glad you
That's actually very interesting because I never thought about it, right? You could theoretically make a deal at a convention and then redeem it and have it shipped out to whoever you make a deal with, right?
Yeah.
But I never even thought about it that way. That's a pretty cool way to look at it.
There's so many benefits for this that a lot of
Yeah.
people aren't realizing right now until they actually have to deal with that those circumstances, you know. And going to a convention, like you said, I can bring 100, 500, even 1,000 of my physical comic books to the convention, show it to somebody. They want to buy it, done. We could do it right there.
Right.
On the app, I never even thought about it, but you're right. Shane, that's an excellent. I never even thought about that
Man,
use.
when can I start investing? When do you guys go? When do you guys want publicly? Get me in? It's like I'll put 10% down, right? Like that's crazy. I feel like just here we are having a small chat, and that's a crazy idea that could have like literally worldwide sensation here. Like this is the big stuff, guys. I feel like this is so cool about it.
Yeah, and grading companies are
Yeah.
And we make it very easy, very simple to do it. The app is designed to be as simple to operate as it can be, right? I was involved in helping with the UI and ensuring that from a collector's perspective everything made sense, right? And whenever I saw something that just didn't flow very well from a collector's perspective, I pointed it out, and they listen. These guys have really implemented pretty much everything I've suggested. So this is this is mind blowing to me. I can't even believe I get to have these type of decisions.
Oh, that's so cool. We got some more people coming in here. How many comics are above retail price and how many are below?
That'll be so when we publish it on our platform. I don't know what the number on the top of my head, but most of them are around, give or take, retail range, right? And of course some are below the retail range on there as well. But guys, tomorrow you'll get an opportunity to see every single item in there, and get for yourself whether or not this is worth it. Of course, there's the potential of getting something below retail, and there's the potential to get something above retail. That's why we offer the buyback offer, right? So that we minimize the sort of the downside risk. We will be introducing a new concept to this whole space by the third drop that I think most of you guys are gonna like. That pertains to minimizing risk even further. It's a pretty cool concept. So by drop number 3, it'll be implemented.
Yeah. What was really cool too was to watch the stress test drop, seeing cases sell for 2x. I saw some because people were only able to buy 2, and that's what I mean. It would have been probably an instant sellout if it was only 2 max, right? So, and people were buying them in the marketplace, the cases. It was super cool to see that. It was
Wow.
So,
That's true, yeah, because you couldn't buy more than 2. So those people that wanted to buy more would go in the marketplace and buy them at a premium from other users. For this drop, it'll be a limit of 3, so you can purchase up to 3 cases. And, part of that is we want to make sure that someone doesn't go in there and just buy 10, 15 cases, and then that doesn't leave much for other users, right? So that's the reason behind capping the amount of cases you can buy. And certainly for this type of drop, we feel confident that it'll do very well.
Yeah, and so here's my question now, is because I'm thinking about like long term. You could have so many different things happen here. Like for instance, like let's say Sleepin gave you guys 50 of his comics, and like let's say all of them were bangers. Let's say like Hulk #1 is in there. Like, I mean, I know he doesn't want to sell that, but I'll just say hypothetically, could it then all of a sudden the buy-in be like $1,000 with, some comics be $800, but with the grail being like 35 grand or something, right? Just hypothetically. And then over time as well, what I like about this is that, unlike, let's say, these traditional NFT things, scarcity in those things you don't really have to worry about because they're already physical copies in the real world, right? So it's not like you could have a 10,000, if you had the demand for it, a 10,000 mystery case drop. If you had 10,000 comics that were representing that, like it's not going to affect you guys, or it's not going to affect the market, right? Am I wrong? I'm just trying to think about like, what the sweet spot is here. If you guys are liking kind of this slower rollout, 75, maybe 100, 125.
So we obviously want to start sort of slow and gradually learn. I mean, that's one of the reasons we sort of didn't want to start globally, because we want to make sure that we are providing a good service is starting out, right? Once we get about 50 to 100 shipments under our belt in the US, that's when we will go ahead and expand globally. But we have to, we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we open it up globally and then it's a bad experience for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And so we do want to sort of gradually grow. The other thing is, so we just want to point out that all of our mystery case drops, right, every week, every Thursday, that's from Fanable's own inventory that we acquire, right? What users submit, they have full control over what they do, and none of that ever goes to a mystery case. So that's segregated, right? Whatever the user submits, they do what they choose to do with that. But certainly, for example, on our second drop, there will be a massive, grail on there. And as we sort of, once we get more experience under our belt, there'll be much, much bigger items, right? So get ready, because you're going to see the marketplace, have thousands and thousands of items just from Fanable's own inventory alone.
Wow.
Yeah. And so once you factor in what the users submit, you can imagine there'll be tens of thousands of items on there. But every single week, we're going to keep adding more inventory, because every week we have a new drop.
And Sergio, what about other mediums as well? Do you plan to do these drops just for comic books?
Thanks for bringing that up. So if you if you don't mind going to the market tab on the on our app, that way people can see sort of the categories that we currently support. So comics, obviously, right? Trading cards, video games, home videos, and toys. And for each of those categories, we'll be doing drops. For the coming months, we're gonna focus primarily on comic books, and comic books will always be part of the experience. I mean, everything will be part of the experience, but especially me, since that's where my passion is, right? Comic books is sort of what I'm really here for, right? Comics. But Alex is a big Pokemon guy, right? So when it comes to designing those drops, he's more heavily involved with those trading cards drops that are gonna center around Pokemon cards. But every single category we will be doing drops for, including VHS, video games, toys, and trading cards. For the first few months, it'll be exclusively comic books.
Wow. Well, we're definitely going to have to chat, because I think I showed you the amount of things that I've got here from the Pokemon side. So it'd be cool to do.
And if you up, let's go, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Sleepin said I could all put it together for $10,000 a pack. So he'd make a cool $1 million off of a drop.
I will say the sports card market, that's actually a real thing. There are packs that go for 10 to 20 grand, and they're like in cases. Wow. So, but to answer the previous question, cards are already available on the platform.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, the cards are available, and we'll be doing a big push on cards, right? We already started sending a ton of items for inventory for cards in preparation for drops for cards. So that's coming too. And also Sleeping Comics, I mean, the Sleeping Comics Curated Collection on Fanable has a nice ring to it. Don't you guys think?
I do.
So hey, if you're up for it, Sleeping, I think that's something we can work out. Just let us know, and we'll make it happen for you. Okay.
I think he would. I think he's got more than enough inventory to kind of to be involved. Video Shane also says, will you have a presence at any of the conventions this year?
You know, not we thought we were going to, but just the development of the app didn't leave much room for us to focus on that. We had even purchased, we had paid for a space for the San Diego Comic-Con because we expected to have the app released earlier than now. But all of our attention has been focused entirely on just getting the platform up and running. You know, launching on 3 different platforms, right? iOS, Google Play, and desktop simultaneously. There's just so much that goes into developing that, right? But we will. We don't have anything scheduled right now. But we certainly will be at conventions. We just got to make sure that we're stable enough where we feel very comfortable with everything that we have to offer, that everything's working well. But you'll see us at conventions for sure.
That's great. And Sleeping came back. He's like, let's do a curated pack and give a bunch to charity.
What a legend.
Classic guy.
I want to be reaching out to you. So yeah, let's talk. I love it. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So definitely something we can do.
Wow. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure, having you on today. I'll give the final floor to Sean or you, Sergio, to kind of, give us some last thoughts about, what we can expect. And everybody, if you're looking for more insight or information, I left all the links in the description below. So you can just go to that. You can click on the website. You can click for the upcoming drop. You can follow both Sergio and Sean at their platforms, and also make sure to follow the new Fanable, X account as well. So you can see the future drops and make sure to download it when it's available. So pass the floor to you guys, man.
Yeah, I think I just want to dive through really quick and just show the different chasers that are going to be available.
Yeah.
Going out there, just so you know, you don't need to KYC to get involved in the drop. You need to KYC if you plan to sell. I've been around Sergio enough. I feel like I know, but Sergio, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm maybe speaking out of. But KYC only if you plan to sell. But if you want to get involved in the drop, if you want to submit comic books, you can do that, or any collectibles, you can do that. Well, let's dive into some of the grails and chasers. So the big grail is this Amazing Spider-Man 252, done by Josh Jansen, one of the awesome artists on this comic book, and it's a 9.8. So that's an awesome comic.
No joke.
Involving Vivi knows this one very well.
Like, that's more than a partner statue right now in terms of the current value.
Yeah. So one of the big chases is this Amazing Spider-Man 300, amazing original cover art by Tom McFarlane. It's also a newsstand. Really nice.
Wow.
Ultimate Fallout 4. This is a cover A, 9.6 grade. First appearance of Miles Morales.
You had to throw that in there, eh?
Yeah.
Here's my Miles right here.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's legit.
That's amazing. And then this comic and the next one, I don't actually know if they're available on the VV platform. However, they are VV original comics. So this is a Amazing Spider-Man 59 original cover art by Frank Miller, and also signed by Frank Miller. This is a 9.8 graded book. This was released at New York Comic Con last year. Very cool comic. And look at that.
Yeah, so that's the only place you could buy it at, is at the New York Comic Con. And as you know, a lot of our VV fans, because they're global, they didn't get an opportunity to go there. And so this is an opportunity for them to get their hands on this comic, on this VV exclusive.
Yeah.
So cool.
And emphasizing again, these are all physical comic books stored in a Brinks vault, guys. These aren't just digital, NFTs. These are actually
digitals too. Hey, I'm big on Vivi, and look at Sean with his Vivi hat. I mean, we're all fans of Vivi.
100%.
And then I love this one too. This is the Amazing Spider-Man,
the
original Vivi cover. And what's really special about this, a couple things. One is that it's signed by David Yu and Dan Crothers, and it's officially authenticated by CGC. And it also has a VV label, which is very hard to get right now. So it's got all.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is a very special comic.
And that's the comic that, like, when it first came out, it was like there was only 1,000 editions, right? It's the same 252, but there was like I think this was like the ultra rare cover, if I'm not wrong.
You're right. That is the ultra rare for the digital version. Yeah. This is obviously the physical of that, right? But you're right. I think there were only about 1,000 digitals, right? And it sold out instantly. I remember that.
Yeah.
You know?
And there was only 75, I think, of this particular one, if I'm not wrong.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy because I remember the secret rare was going like for 50,000. Even I think I saw the floor price at 100,000 at one point.
Yeah, this was 100%. I know somebody who bought this for 8,000. The digital version.
Amazing! Wow.
Yeah.
So this is the physical of that, but yeah, you're right. That's the one.
Yeah, super.
That's killer.
Yeah. So it's this Thursday, guys. Sergio, I'll let you take over from here.
No. You say it, baby. I brought you guys on for a reason, so I'm not. I'm just watching this. I'm watching my own show.
No, as Sean mentioned, these are the possible chases you can reveal, right? It's a mystery case drop. It's $99 per item. There's only 75 of them. You'll see the full list of every item that you could get on the drop on Thursday. And every case contains one graded collectible comic book that's curated by Comics and Crypto. So we look forward to having you all join us. I think it'll be very exciting it's exciting for all of us here, and look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah. And everyone, again, make sure you check your mint number before you open the pack. Because if you have number 1 or number 75, or maybe even number 3, like representing all 3 of us of Comics and Crypto, it could sell for a premium in the marketplace, or if you want to just own it for yourself. So definitely pay attention to your mint number when you get the pack.
Wow. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Lots to consider here. Lots of amazing things on the way. I feel, pretty privileged that we're kind of able to chat in the early days of Fanable. So looking forward to the future and everything you guys have to offer. So thanks for coming on today. Again, the description has all the links, the necessary links below. And let's have some fun this Thursday. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.